up for questions instead of talking particularly about my acting process. I felt like, especially right now, it was important to talk about what it means to be an artist. That journey is a very personal one, and it's different for all of us. For me, growing up, I always enjoyed living life in my imagination. I dabbled in writing, I took ballet, and then I started holding for sound.
Okay, it's instinct, right?
We play right through it. We still give emotions to the camera.
Channel 7 News, checking you out.
Good instinct. That's what it's like being on a set.
That's what, yes.
Right?
Yes. But, and I started college very young to do nursing school. I started college at 15, so I took a break from the arts until I was nearing the end of my education. I found modeling at that time. Really, a friend asked me to pose for her, and at the time I had horrible body dysmorphia. I was recovering from anorexia, and being in that position in front of the camera scared me to death. I was so afraid of how I looked, and I ended up doing more of it as exposure therapy and fell in love with the art form that it was. And shortly after that, I'm juggling a nursing job, traveling to New York multiple times a month as well to work. And then I got a contract in Los Angeles, and the pretty pictures got me in the room for acting way before I was ready. And that scared me as well and let me realize, wow, I have more personal growth to do with this. Got into classes and ended up again falling in love with it for what it was. I juggled all of that together as long as I could. I worked nights at the hospital so I could then go to set all day. And when it came time for me to be awake and working for 4 days straight, I recognized, wow, I have to pick. I never thought that would happen. And I cried the whole time I typed my resignation letter at the hospital. But it was a choice that I felt I should make. I heard one statistic that as little as maybe 2% of actors make enough to make a living, and I thought to myself, if this was an opportunity presenting itself to me, I should trust that there's something for me to accomplish here, so I should try. And so I did. So that being said, there's a difference between making art and being an artist. Anyone can make art. Whether it's good or not is up for debate, and that's art in general. Everyone will always debate what we make, but the moment that we take on the identity of being an artist, that's an active journey. That is an active, it's not passive, it's something that we are always working at, exploring and growing. And the moment that we assume that identity and take ownership of our art and our journey, that's when so much power is on our side. Taking ownership, it pushes us to not wait for the opportunity to be given to us. We generate our own opportunity. We look for our creative community. We're making our own projects. We're keeping that ongoing resume forever going. What we've done before is great, but what are we doing right now? And taking creative ownership keeps us accountable in that regard to always be active, always be looking. And in that journey, collaboration is such an important piece. We cannot do what we do alone, no matter what your art form is. In music, film, fashion, it takes a village, it takes a community. And it can't be just one person running the show. To make a cohesive vision, we all have to be willing to put ego aside, show up, yes, have a vision that we've all agreed upon, but in real time, be willing to interpret everyone's artistic instincts, empathize, process, and produce to where we're all on the same creative page. Having a collaborative artistic community helps us all ensure that we're all growing, that we're all ready for that paid opportunity. It's a very important thing that helps us stay alive, and I love that about Los Angeles. I think our community really understands that here. And I think this group is a perfect example of that too, because we've been focused a lot on verticals, which is where a lot of opportunity is right now. I think as well, and we were talking about this before officially starting, but right now is an important time where the human element of art is more important now than ever. We were talking about resonating with art, and if there's no human soul put into the art, there's no human magic, there's no magic to receive as a consumer. And so I think this puts a lot of power on our side as the human artists in this industry. We have something valuable to share with consumers, with viewers, with listeners that technology will never fully be able to replicate. And I think that this is the perfect time for us to take ownership of that magic and create together, as evidenced by Obsession and Back Rooms coming out in theaters now. I believe that was made by a YouTuber. I have no time to keep up with what's coming out in media, but I think that's a perfect example of this is the day and age of the independent artist, the independent filmmaker. And if our vision is strong, our team is strong, we can monetize that. So I think groups like that are very important. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. I would love to open the floor for questions that anyone may have for me. Sorry, I talked way too much.
Not at all.
Guys, if you have questions, we have the mic, so we'll be good.
They're like, no, she spoke way too much.
No, everyone's just processing. The questions will come.
I feel like as an actor, my experience in production, I've produced fashion editorials, I have produced things, small acting projects for my own reel, but running a high-level film production is not something I've personally done yet. I think it's coming for me. So I may not have specific strategies or analytics to share on my own, but
Okay, I have a question.
I would love to hear your question.
Since I saw you on the runway not so long ago,
Yes.
can you tell me the difference between the dimension of being on the catwalk as opposed to being, in front of a camera lens, saying a script?
Yes.
How does that affect you personally, like with your growth? I mean, it's obviously, I feel like, one can be one-dimensional, but you have so much charisma and personality. How does that work for you? Like, how do you balance that?
I feel like runway is a very interesting art form. I'm 5'7". I never expected I would be walking so much runway. I was always told 5'9" and above, and thankfully in Los Angeles, height really doesn't matter as much. Runway, I still try to keep a cohesive feeling on my walk. I try to tailor my walk to the designer. I look at the fabrics, I look at the line. I will ask also the designer's preference. Some walks call for more aggressive, some walks are more elegant, some are more sexy. And then this year I also had the honor of doing a performance walk where I was asked to cry on the runway and collapse. So that was a very interesting thing, being able to combine more performance to my walk. Fashion in general is interesting. It can be abstract. It can be moment to moment. Every moment can be its own individual thing. Whereas film, you want everything to tell one cohesive story. And if things may not make sense to the viewer right away, it has to be intentional and by design. I feel like runway is a good merging of the two. It can be abstract. It can be something that commands a discussion afterwards to understand it, but there is purpose behind it, and it is a fluid thing from start to finish.
And you mentioned like working with musicians. I always felt like when models go out on the runway, it's kind of like their concert.
In a way.
And like, when you're doing like video or like movies,
Absolutely.
is that more like stepping into the studio? Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer the live aspect, or do you prefer like cuts, retakes?
Ooh, I've never done stage, so my live performance is restricted to runway and the formats of film where we've done longer takes, up to 16 minutes. I feel like that's the closest comparison I've had to stage. I enjoy them all for different reasons. The beauty of doing something that's a little less on display for everyone, you get to really dive into and savor that process of actively creating with everyone. There can be more feedback exchanged in real time. So as an artist, I find that very gratifying. Getting on that same creative page with everyone is a very interesting thing. And being able to exchange ideas and adapt more, I do like. I enjoy them for the different challenges. Yeah. You're getting me into performer mode now. Come on.
I'll take the mic. Okay, Ashley.
Okay.
Speak to the little 3, 4, 5, 6-year-old girl who sees your work and moves her soul and says, that's where I want. That's who I want to be. That's how. What would you guide her? What would you speak to her? She's 3, she's 4, she's 5, she's 6 years old. She looks to you as a role model. She looks to you as a mentor for her dream that in a few heartbeats she will be where you are now. Speak to her.
You have to follow what interests you. We have the desires and interests that we do for a reason. People may not understand it at first. People may not encourage it at first, but I believe that what we have to share with the world in an art form is what makes us unique, the interesting perspectives that no one else shares. So if no one else understands it at first, great. That means that there's something really special you have to share with everyone. And you'll get better at communicating it the more you train. Follow what interests you, and it will prepare you for the next thing. And it's okay if it's not what you end up doing immediately for your career to make money. If it's part of you and you're interested in it and you're always training on it and you're always cultivating that skill, the resources will come, the opportunities will come. It has to make you happy, it has to inspire you, it has to challenge you. And I think also doing what you love, but also always seeking to learn. That's the nature of art. We have to do what we love. We have to share what we feel, but we always have to be there. It has to be an exchange that keeps us evolving as an artist. So follow what interests you. Do it for you, and don't wait for people to tell you it's cool. Don't wait for people to tell you it's good. It'll be bad at first, but it's special to you, and you have to be bad before you can be truly great. If it's yours, it doesn't matter.
That's a very good answer.
Beautiful.
So true.
I've got just a more logistical,
Please.
generous question, but and maybe David could hop in on this too. But
Yes.
you've done 31 verticals.
Yes, I have.
So what have you noticed is a change in the industry from when we first started
Okay.
to now?
Well, there is a very particular change that we probably have been talking about in this group. I was absent last week, so sorry if I am revisiting something that's been very touched on. There is a big shift. A lot of the Chinese platforms are canceling shows right now to be done fully through artificial intelligence. And that is putting a lot of us, in a position where we're working a little less frequently. I'm actually excited by this because we have had a city of very talented creatives that are used to working in the Olympics of art that have been very trained on how to do this. And if there's less work coming to us, what does that mean? I think we're going to see a rise in American-based platforms. And I think we're going to see a rise in more stories that we know American women want to see. We're going to see more female characters that they've been begging us for. We're going to see more culturally in tune storylines. And I think if and when the other platforms start recognizing the value in the human-based shows, I think they're going to have some really strong competition on their hands. So I'm very excited for this.
Great point.
Yeah, I would agree with that. To reference the Chinese-based industry that has been kind of the catalyst for this to come forward, it's almost like rocket boosters. That industry got the trajectory started, and is it because now there's a new shiny blinky thing and they'll go on to the new technology, which is the AI portion of it, which is fine. Will they jettison and leave the human actor, the live actor model? But what's most important is what's true to the American culture and the European culture and every culture, really. There will be live actors even in the Chinese industry, and gratitude for them for giving the spark to the fire, really. And we'll see the AI develop, which is beautiful because it has its place, and the human element will carry forward. So embrace it all. Embrace it all, for sure.
I have a question.
Oh, yes.
So thank you for your speech.
Oh my God, sorry.
Speak so beautifully and elegantly, I would say. So thank you.
further, so you talked about this shift from going from being making art to being an artist, and part of what comes with that is, of course, monetization of your art. Can you talk a bit about, as much as you're willing to share, like what that shift was like? Did it come pretty quickly and relatively easy once it came? Like, did the project start kind of rolling in? Or how long was the fight? Did that drive and fight have to go on? I'm sure it's maybe still having to happen now, maybe, but I'm curious to hear your experience with that.
Absolutely. No, that's a great question, because a lot of artists at heart, we don't really care about the money, but we have to look at money as the resource that empowers us to do more of what we love. So that is an important thing. I think for me, and I hear this a lot, that if you do what is mainstream, that's selling out. I disagree. I think that the way to monetize is taking a look at what do I have to offer, what do people want to consume, how can I match it up. And at the time where I was making that shift, the greatest demand and money was in the vertical space. So for me, that was learning that medium, learning the style, learning how I could make myself more marketable in that space. And that will continue to change. I'm expecting things to shift again. And if and when it does, I'm hoping to learn the next new thing, evolve, adapt. Adaptability is a very big key factor in how we can continue to monetize things. Continuing to educate ourselves in the advancements of the system. That was amazing that you went to that event about AI. I think it's a tool that we need to educate ourselves on and learn, because it is here. So yes, for me that was learning the vertical space. And if bookings ever slow down, I'm always re-strategizing how I can train to be marketable. I also actively work in commercials. I also do indie film. I also do, the studio stuff whenever it comes to me, and I'm fortunate. And I self-produce my own fashion work, but there's no money in that. That's all for the soul, and that's all for the sake of art and elevating the team. But yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Got a marketability question. Natural redhead? Are you natural?
Oh no, I pay once a
blonde?
month for this,
Okay,
and I will
okay.
give you her information because I want her to succeed and have clients.
You know what? But I realize there's a space there, and especially I think one of the classics is Lucille Ball was.
I'm obsessed with her.
Right.
I'm obsessed with her.
How do you, coming from a market standpoint, how do you find your target audience? Because I've been watching Suits on replay, and Donna, she's one of beautiful red hair. How do you work that? Do they put you in a box?
They can. They absolutely can. I was blonde before this, and I was only going out for, pardon my language, the bitch or the call girl or the stripper, and I was not booking very much, but also I recognized I hadn't learned how to play mean yet, and I was still growing in that. But the moment I went red, the amount of range that casting was willing to see me for, I can go out for the quirky one, the girl next door, the sexy one, the mean one, the nice one. And so I feel like for now, this visual, what they're willing to accept me as, I feel like it's nice and wide and working for me. But that's fun, because if we ever feel like we're not working or we're not booking or we're not happy with what we're booking, we can change something about our brand or our marketing or our look and open up some new doors.
And I noticed with that, I think you have a movie coming out, Baby Claws?
I do.
Would you like to expound on that? Or?
I would love to expound on that. It started as a vertical, and we shot an open gate, so we had the option for a horizontal and or vertical edit, and as it stands right now, it is actually a horizontal feature film. So Traditional film won on this one. I think why is because they really favored truth in the performances, and it wasn't the typical high stakes or really leaned into high stakes situation. They let us really live in truth. It is a story about a lawyer who thinks she has it all figured out, and logically she does, but she still wants to be a mom, And so she realizes, well, I would like to not spend all this money on IVF, and I don't want to date. I'm not having luck in this. What works? All right, we're going to do this the old-fashioned way, have a fling, get pregnant, and no strings attached. She ends up falling in love. But we are currently going to be entering the film festival circuit, and I'm so proud of that project. Everyone was wicked talented, and I knew with the people on that team, we couldn't go wrong. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
It's interesting with the red hair because as a filmmaker,
Yeah.
you always want one character to like stand out, and red hair is like the easy go-to. Oh, it's the red hair.
It's
Yeah.
her. It's her again.
Yeah.
Yeah.